Good afternoon everyone. I'm Uma Maheshwari, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. In this video lecture series, I'm going to explain about a vestigial sideband. Vestigial sideband. It is nothing but a type of modulation in which it uses the amplitude modulation technique that is commonly used in a television broadcasting. It is a compromise between the full double sideband and the single sideband modulation, whereas the double sideband amplitude modulation is nothing but it involves the transmitting of the carrier along with both the upper and the lower sidebands, which are the mirror images of each other and contains the same information, whereas single sideband amplitude modulation, where here only one of the sidebands is transmitted along with the reduced or a suppressed carrier. This method is more bandwidth efficient but complex to implement when compared to the double sideband. Both of the sidebands are not required for the transmission as it is a waste, but a single band if transmitted leads to loss of information. But the vestigial sideband or a vestigial sideband modulation is the process where a part of the signal called a vestige is modulated along with one sideband. Here in the diagram, the VSB is indicated with the variation of the gray color. A VSB signal has been plotted as shown. Along with the upper sideband, a part of the lower sideband is also being transmitted in this technique. A guard band of very small bandwidth. A guard band of very small bandwidth is laid on either side of the VSB in order to avoid the interferences. Where VSB modulation is mostly used in the television transmissions. The advantages of vestigial sideband modulation are it is highly efficient, there is a reduction in the bandwidth, and the filter design is easy as high accuracy is needed. The transmission of low frequency components is possible without difficulty. Then it possesses a good phase characteristics. It also combines the benefits of the DSB and the SSB. It conserves bandwidth like single sideband while maintaining some of the simplicity. The main drawback of this vestigial sideband is the bandwidth is greater when compared to the single sideband. Then the demodulation process is very complex in this. Then the applications of VSB. The most prominent and the standard application of VSB is used for the transmission of television signals. Also, this is the most convenient and efficient technique when the bandwidth usage is considered. The activity that we are going to discuss is a device which converts the digital data into the analog signals for the transmission over a telephone lines. Can we guess what it is? Then the comparison of various analog communication systems. The first one is amplitude modulation. The main principle of amplitude modulation is the amplitude of the carrier signal varies in accordance to the instantaneous amplitude of the message signal. The main advantage here is it is simple in implementation. Then the longer transmission range when compared to the FM then can be demodulated using simpler and less expensive receivers. The main disadvantage is it is susceptible to noise and the interference. Then lower sound quality due to the limited bandwidth. It is less efficient in terms of power usage. The main application is it is used in AM radio broadcasting, aircraft communication. The next modulation is a frequency. The main principle is that the frequency of the carrier signal varies in accordance with the instantaneous amplitude of the message signal. The main advantage over here is it has a better noise immunity when compared to the amplitude modulation. It also has a higher sound quality due to the wider bandwidth. Then it is also more efficient to power. The main disadvantage is it is more complex in the terms of receivers and the transmitters. The transmission range is very short in it. The main application of the FM modulation is, as compared to AM, it is also used in FM radio broadcasting and the very high frequency communication for television and the other services. The next one is phase modulation. Here the main principle is the phase of the carrier signal varies according to the instantaneous value of the message signal. The main advantage is it is similar in noise immunity and sound quality, where it can be used as the basis for more complex digital communication schemes like quadrature amplitude modulation. The main disadvantages is it is more complex, then it is more commonly used for basic analog communication systems. The main application is it is used in communication systems and also for the digital modulation technique. Then, as we have seen already, single sideband modulation, vestigial sideband modulation and a double sideband modulation. The assessment is what is meant by the term VSB, as we discussed before, and what are all the applications of amplitude modulation, and mention the applications of single sideband. Thank you.